Detroit. Welcome to the D, baby.
313 Detroit's love, the Motor City. Detroit's love, can't nothing stop me. Detroit's love, I love my city. Detroit's love.
Welcome to another episode, Middle Ground with JLE L.L.C, where we treat you like family. Have another amazing guest for you today. We have author of Torrential Waters, international independent filmmaker who won the Best Feature, Contrarily Speaking, served as senior editor of Exposure Magazine, and founder, owner, producer of Speak Live Nation channel on Exposure Network, Cedric Nettles. Welcome to the show, sir.
Oh, man, it's an honor being here. Thank you so much.
You're awesome. All right, let's get into it.
Mm-hmm.
What led you on this path?
I don't know. Well, I do know.
Take time.
All right. As a child, I knew I was going to be a writer, even in first grade. I just knew it. But I had some barriers for bullying ever since I was 5 years old. I can remember the first time I was picked on. And it led all the way up to my adulthood. But I had a teacher that believed in me and said that you write great stories. I'm going to make you part of our school newspaper.
Oh, wow.
And when that happened, it gave me a boost of confidence that I knew I would be a writer and creator, a storyteller. And from here on out, I thought it'd be sports on ESPN, but it turned out I honestly thought I was going to be an ESPN anchor. That was my goal.
I got you.
And ironically, it didn't happen that way. I spent time in the Army, was a paratrooper in a military intelligence unit. I had my own misadventures there. I can share that if you like, but that was quite impact on my life as a young man. But it strengthened me as a writer and a creator. It made me better, and that's what it's all about. But going into film started in 2007 in my first film that was an assistant director, and also did my first documentary. And off and on, I got to this point, on my own channel after meeting Miss Tam Lawrence, who's my publicist.
She's awesome.
Yeah, she's an amazing person. She's my coach, mentor, sister, twin. We had like brothers and sisters half the time. Fight like love her dearly, though. I wouldn't be here without her. But it's one of those things where we knew that when God have a purpose for you, He'll make a way for you to meet that purpose. And it may not be what you're thinking, but you'll be there.
Okay. So what is Speak Live Nation channel?
Well, Speak Live Nation actually started as an artist empowerment radio channel, interview celebrities and what have you.
Okay.
And as we evolved into a TV channel, Sam and I sat that back and said, you know what, we can do a little more. So we evolved it as a way to help students from historically Black colleges. And so what we do is take journalism students and treat Speak Live Nation as a practice round, target practice.
Okay.
So they can hone their skills. We made partnerships with Hampton University, North Carolina A&T, and those main schools we've been dealing with. That's and we had a couple of guys did okay. One guy ended up going to ESPN. So get this.
That's awesome.
I didn't go to ESPN, but I helped a young man get an internship at the ESPYs via ESPN.
Wow, that's dope.
So I was just telling God has a sense of humor sometimes, but He really does. He said, "You're not meant to do it, but you need to help other people get there." But I'm going to take you to a different path and be speaking to also people like yourself about my journey. But in terms of the students, what it's all about them and helping them get confidence. And unfortunately, in this day of social media and copycat and imposters,
oh yeah.
I can't do what you do. I'm just steal your identity. Sometimes those people get the jobs not because they're skilled, they're just more confident.
That's true.
It's not that that there are more skilled people out there. They're just getting the jobs because they're confident. Imagine we had a way for kids to develop their talent, where they can get on air, be exposed to millions of viewers, get coached by people like myself who has been working television before at my local TV station, worked with Tam Lawrence, interviewed several celebrities, and was head of a magazine. And you get a chance to be around professionals like me and the Tams out there. You're gonna be something to record with in that interview chair. You're gonna be ready. So Speed Live Nation gives people that platform to learn who they are as a person, as a journalist, and as an entertainer. And that's what Speed Live Nation is about.
Man, that's phenomenal. Because if you doing that field, you wonder, like, okay, well, I ain't get a chance to do an internship somewhere, and that's like an intern where they can really figure out how they do their thing and get some notoriety.
Yeah, and you'll understand these people like they see on the air, like Stephen A. Smiths and all those guys, they did internships.
Yeah, it took work.
It's real work, and I don't mean to rag on it. There's a lot of talented young men and women out there, but you can't get caught up in this pressure just trying to get ahead of people without doing the work. And Tam will tell you, Tam as a comedian, she'll tell you she did that Chitlin circuit.
Yeah,
you know, where they sleep in the cars, they're going to different places and stuff, and they're just asking for a chance to perform. And they paid some dues to get where they're at. And I try to give kids a way to, hey, look, find out where you're at, because when you're in front of that interviewer for that TV station, and you're trying to rationalize why they need to put you on air and that's their logo and their brand, will I be a liability to this company? You want to show that you're an asset to that company. That's and true. We try to build those skills up so they're ready. They're more prepped up here mentally and here, and nobody got in the business in the first place.
And that is a big issue nowadays, because some people want microwave. Okay, I'm going to be LeBron tomorrow. Like, no, LeBron been working for a long time to be LeBron. You got to do the work.
You got to do the work. I mean, you know strangers to that yourself. You know.
Yeah, I didn't expect to be doing this, dog. Like, help you find a purpose. Well, I was going to talk about sports, politics. I'm going to talk about other stuff, but this is the focal point. So, and I'm learning how to make it better. Keep it going.
We all learn. We keep learning, all of us.
So, what got you into filmmaking?
Well, I thought that I would get into ESPN, teenager, that would later segue into film.
Okay.
It didn't turn out that way. I ended up getting to corporate America.
Not a bad landing.
Yeah, but you got in that role. You still learn the ropes there, but it still enabled me to do film. And like I said, my first film was based on my high school. It was the first historically black high schools in South Carolina, Mayo High School. Oh. And it's on YouTube. Did pretty well. My classmates are on it. They love it, because I kind of told the history where it came from. They didn't know. And I've learned a lot. And this kind of segued into getting an assistant director's position in independent film. I was working with the director of my film, Contrarily Speaking, in his film, later on, a few years later. And he ended up starring in my film, and along with some other noted actors and stuff that's in the business right now. But film, I always knew I was going to be doing film. I just didn't know the timeline. Okay. And you just got to trust God's timeline for you. It doesn't look like it, but like I said, he has a sense of humor.
Hey, I'm with you, brother. I'm with you on that one.
It is crazy. I can tell you Miracle Monday that came out. I remember, I want to go on a tangent. I just want to tell you how good God is. I mean,
we do that on this show. Go ahead.
Yeah, because I tell you, there's a point where I didn't have something happen where I couldn't pay for that weekend of shooting. It's one day of a shooting for my film, Contrarily Speaking. Okay. And then someone just said not to worry about it. And right when I got in from one of the days of shooting, there's a check for $4,000 waiting for me. Awesome. Out of the blue to finish up. Because I told guys, I'm going to make this about you. If you show me in this film, I'm going to glorify you. That money popped up. And not only did we finish that film, I ended up winning Best Feature Film in London. Awesome. So, I mean, with that kind of vision for your life, you knew you was going to be in film some way or somehow. But like I said, he has a sense of humor. He tested me. I just prayed to God, like, I'm passing these tests, man, because I was stressed out. That's one of the most stressful times doing your first feature film. It's stressful. All it takes is one actor not to show up. One of those main actors show up. Everything else you did. And everything showed up and showed out. I'm so.
First, what is the film about, and what is the process to get that and bring it to life?
Contrarily speaking, is about a young lady. Her name is Contrary.
Mm-hmm.
Her mother was a controversial spoken word artist.
Okay.
That she spoke her mind. She didn't fear anybody. But when she told people that she's running for office, she disappeared.
Oh no.
So her daughter, which she cleverly named Contrary, they play off the name Lee, Contrary Lee speaking, came in town to find out what happened. So she had to navigate through who's who, the frenemy relationship between the young lady she's performing with, who was daughters of the politicians and stuff that couldn't stand her.
Mm.
So it's kind of a whodunit type film.
Okay.
So the process starts with the script. You got to nail that script down. You don't have that script, you don't have a film. So it went through several revisions. And it took me about 4 years to make this particular one. Hopefully the next one won't take that long.
Wow.
But it took about 4 years for that to happen. And it took everything I can give it. And God put his hand on it. I had a casting crew of about 60 people in my first film, which was unheard of for a very, very low micro budget film.
Mm-hmm.
But I had very talented actresses. I had Deborah Terry, who's a noted comedian, been in the game for a long time.
Okay.
I had Jamie Brown, Brent Moore Gaskins, who's still appearing in films right now, like big ones. He's appearing. Chad Ayers. These are not familiar names, maybe to some, but these are amazing performers, which I'm very, very glad I had a part of my film. And not to mention my baby sister, Tania Clay, who played. I love her. She's like my sister, but I love her in life. And she made me the godfather of her beautiful daughter. So I can't forget her.
Oh, that's awesome, man. So how did you become the senior editor of Exposure magazine?
Well, I started off as an entertainment editor. I ended up interviewing celebrities like Ice-T,
Okay.
Lewis, the late great Dorothy Steele. She played the elder in Black Panther.
Oh, okay.
And she was on Steve Harvey show. She was like, 90s at the time.
Okay.
She was, because she just passed away a few months ago. And she was an amazing person. And then as Tam started to transition to the digital part of the magazine, she made me senior editor. I was kind of over the writers on the digital side. So, and I still chip in when I can. Of course, she's went a different direction with it. Mm-hmm. She was dying to do, which she's killing it with it. But that's how I became senior editor of the magazine.
Okay. Now, what inspired you to write Torrential Waters?
Well, Torrential Waters is basically based on true things that happened to me as a child. I was bullied growing up. It's about a young man that was blessed with a unique gift that's passed down from his fathers. And it's a gift that kind of scares him. Mm-hmm. And not to mention, he's learning to cope with that gift alongside of being bullied by the football team that he played for. Okay. And not to mention the challenges he has trying to be a good man in romantic relationships. Because there's a lot of good guys out there that go through a lot. And I dare say some things that Will Smith going through. Ooh-wee. It has some
time you should listen to the Lord.
Yes, it has a lot of those themes in there. Like I'm trying to see the whole picture of what he's going through. Mm-hmm. And it has similar themes. It's kind of scary seeing that unfold to someone like that couple which you love. You hate that happening to them. But nonetheless, that storyline is very, very, very engaging. And the support was done by Maria Howell. You remember the movie with The Color Purple? Mm-hmm. She was the one that started Lord God's Trying to Tell You Something. She's the choir soloist.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, she wrote the foreword for my book, Torrential Waters.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, so it's been quite a journey. I really am amazed at how it impacts people, how they say they can't put it down, and you have to check it out yourself. How long
did it take you to write it?
That was 2 years.
Okay.
2 years. I believe in heightened storytelling. It's my first novel, so I had to kind of learn my style of writing. I don't believe that you should just go look at somebody else's stuff. Oh, that's the stuff I'm going to duplicate that.
No.
I don't believe in that because you can't take ownership of that. When it's your story and your blood, sweat, and tears, you can name every nuance in that story. You can go out and tell somebody about it with passion because you created it. But you cannot create something that's a derivative of someone else and own it like you would if you wrote it yourself. So it took me 2 years. I did what it took, and I did a spin-off book called Torrential Rain, which
Okay.
uh, which has element where you can read those books in order. It's not chronological. They're both the same story linked together.
Mm-hmm.
And that took about a year to write that one.
Okay. You got a new one in the works?
Not in the works. I did have a comic book called Jade the Dream.
What?
Yes,
Okay. What's the name of it?
Jade the Dream Warrior.
Jade. Okay, let's check that out.
Yes, that's a book that addresses kids dealing with low self-image, like I did, and essentially being taught to use their insecurities to go out there to help others.
Okay.
And that's really the thing. Use all the insecurities and the concerns about yourself and put it on others, and that way you can cope with your own pain. So that's what that book's about.
Oh, that's damn. 'Cause I had bully back in the day. We had it out in typing class. And he said, well, I was trying to tough you up. Like, I got brothers. I don't need you to tough me up, dude. Stay in your lane, I stay in mine.
Exactly.
But
So you know where I'm going with that. You know exactly where I'm going with that.
Oh yeah, because they was like, when Jeff gonna do something to him? Like, I'm not a violent person. I'm taught don't be hitting people, but dude just kept, and then he did one of them. Like, okay, that's too much. That's too much.
All of a sudden you came to somewhere. You don't know where you at.
We became good friends. Like,
it's funny how that happened.
That was old school though. Like y'all, it wasn't even
that is
fight.
old school.
A few punches. Like, hey, leave me alone. I ain't bothering you. Then we was cool after that.
That's good. That's what happens. That's how it happens sometimes.
And nowadays with all technology, how they can pick on people is really not cool.
And that I talk about that. And I don't mean to go on and on, but exposure.
And the show, it's about you.
Yeah, on the TV network, I did a miniseries talking about bullying. It's 3 parts.
Okay.
And it talks about cyberbullying. And unfortunately, it's South Carolina. It's a real major thing here.
Wow.
And you know, you want to do all you can with what the resources you have to kind of make a difference. And my thing is trying to inform the public. And a lot of that stuff is like deep-rooted in self-image and lack of an identity. So a person that's bullying you does not have an identity of their own, so they just take it out on someone they perceive that's weaker than them. And by taking it out on someone that's weaker than them, I feel like I'm in power. But when when they go home, you gotta look yourself in the mirror. Once again, the cycle starts all over you. You're never going to be happy that way.
Yeah, hurt people.
Exactly.
Something wrong with you to be picking on someone that ain't done nothing to you.
Exactly. And what I had to learn, of course, I don't know if you relate to this, and I talk about that in my work. That like a lot of times, I can tell you stories that happened, and I was bullied in my military career by my own chain of command.
What?
Yes, I was. It's crazy. When I was jumping out of planes during that time, and I had I survived 2 parachute malfunctions, by the way. One of them miraculously survived. Yeah. The first one's in jump school. The second one, you do a combat jump where you got your backpack right in front of you when you jump out.
Mm-hmm.
So when you jump out, it's supposed to be secure to your legs. That thing slumped up and slammed me in my face. It could have killed me.
Oh no!
I got back down to the ground and started complaining about it. They covered it up, and you know I was a 19-year-old kid. I just always had a trust issue anyway. But when you're talking about your leadership, basically treating you like you're nothing, and then not to mention, so they're trying to take my parachuter's badge away from me. You know, it impacts you a lot. But God had to let me know as I matured when I saw justice, God says, I'm not only working on you to get you justice, but I want you to have mercy for the people that bully you. And
Yeah, man, that's a big one right there.
And that was hard for me for a long time. And I talk about that in Torrential Waters. And I think to get closure, the bully and the bullied and the bully or whatever, they're both victims in certain ways, and you got to learn how to heal. Both sides have to heal some way. So those are things I talk about in Torrential Waters. I mean, it's a must-read book. You'll never forget it.
Yeah, Word of Faith, Bishop Butler did a sermon talking about you gotta forgive people that do wrong and do right by him. Like, yeah, that's a tough one because you want to lay hands, you want to get them back. You ain't trying to forgive or do good by him. Like, nah, man.
I mean, you want to Will Smith somebody. You want Will Smith. I mean, I don't even but I look at Will Smith in that situation. We don't look the whole scope of that. He was wrong by reacting that way. I do believe that. But that is built up anger.
Yeah.
He lashed out. And I think he may have been better served if he would let, I mean, it's easier said than done. We don't know the whole situation. We don't outside looking in. But if he had just enough to forgive people and let that go, he wouldn't have all that built up anger and cause him to walk up on that stage and lay hands on that dude like that. You know,
the ripple effect is like Hollywood might turn on you, bro.
Tam always told me Hollywood entertainment world is a very, very small community, and if something like that happens where you just go off like that, people don't want to attach themselves to you like that.
Yep. That's good. Like, hey, we had these movies in the work. We got to stop it because we don't want nobody saying, you're messing with that person. We don't want the investors to pull out. Sorry, we can't do it.
Yeah. And understand you're a musician. Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So, I mean, it's similar. I mean, similar game. It's like, you might want to be, people got their name out there like that. And it's unfortunately, you got to let things fall off the bat for the greater good sometimes. And you don't control what you control. Like I said, a joke, you just can't go lash out at him. And one thing I talk about is controlling your anger and your rage. That's why I named my company Sage Rage. I try to operate with the wisdom of a sage, but rage as your passion, not anger. So Sage Rage. So control chaos, a channel it towards something positive.
Yeah, because I mean, bullying is back strong with the new generation, and just the damage psychologically and emotionally from when we came up, how people might still deal with it, and that's unfortunate because you had an issue you didn't deal with, you passed it on to someone else, and now they trying to figure out how to let go of it, and it's affecting their life. So they're not really on their purpose like this.
And you made a good point with that because we don't think about the psychological pressure these kids are under, and that we didn't have.
Nah, I mean, somebody say, you got some cheap shoes on, you suck. But they gonna be on Facebook saying it, Twitter, like that. It's everywhere.
And the suicide rate is going through the roof. You've seen 10-year-olds. I mean, what?
Yeah.
A 10-year-old killing himself is so tragic. It is so. I was 10 years on that spot, in that space.
Mm-hmm.
And you wonder what was around that kid you wonder what he was lacking around him to cause him to say, I'm going to end my life. I had a reasonable support system. I had my mom. My dad was not in the house at the time after the divorce, but he was available. But it's sad seeing a 10-year-old feel like all I can do to escape this is kill myself. And that's heartbreaking. And if I can use any one God's gift has given me to tell stories, to report on a journalistic aspect of it, I'm going to do it to try to save lives.
And years ago, they were in a closet doing it, and their parents would find them, and it became a national story. Like, what? They're doing what to them? Like, nah. And anybody listening, that ain't the way. Get help.
Yeah, get help.
Don't beat them up. Don't do violence. But go get help. Tell someone, get the situation dealt with. Hurting yourself ain't gonna help nothing at all.
Hey man, it just takes a lot to It's always said that it takes a village to raise a child. And
Yeah, 'cause back then you had the community of the neighborhood where you had more than just your people that would look out for you. But today's world, like, I don't know, you suspect.
yeah,
So it ain't the same. And ain't no big mamas like we had.
no. But OGs like us can do something. We can do what we can.
Yeah, we gotta try to pass the knowledge to ones that want to hear it and listen.
Each one teach
Some
one.
are.
Yeah,
That's
we'll be there for them. It's just, I know all of us wish we could do more. And want to be sure we use our platforms responsibly. I just believe when God gives you something, it's there to serve people, serve the greater good. And that's how I was raised to be. And
yeah.
God's given me so much favor. You got to understand something. I went from like ESPN day wild me out. Keon, good kid. I love that kid. When I first met him, I saw a lot of myself. He's a shy kid, but talented,
Mhm.
very talented. But I knew being talented looked at him as like, you know what, he got to turn it loose.
Okay.
So this so he can get his game on and get confident. And he's a confident kid, but we saw his confidence grow. And all of a sudden, he's up there chilling with that profile, holding back in the SPs like that. That picture.
That's awesome.
I
That's awesome.
want to send you that pic. That's proud of us. Now, granted, we can't take credit for his hard work.
Nah, but y'all
What he's
helped on.
done. But he attributes Speak Live Nation as a way for him to get his own voice, to find his voice,
Mhm.
and that's what we're here for. We're not here to teach people how to do journalism or how to be in entertainment per se, but we're going to give you the range to try to learn some things, get some confidence and some reps in. So when it's time for showtime to get in front of the interviewing chair in order to perform, you got enough reps to feel confident who you are. There's a lot of people, like I said, there's a lot less talented people out there just out there perpetrating, but they're just confident, but they're not talented. But they probably get that job, and those people stuck with them.
Oh, yeah, you gotta be bold and know that God gave you something that is awesome, and you gotta share it. But you gotta look in the mirror and know that about yourself. Can't nobody do it for you.
Exactly.
You gotta make that decision. I'm dope at painting or whatever it is I'm doing. And you might have somebody say, "Oh, you suck." Don't listen to it.
It's okay. But at least I'm sucking in my own lane, and I got an identity with it. So a lot of people, I see multimillionaires. I'm not saying I hang out with them like that, but I observed
Mhm.
on social media, you're coaching people, but you sound angry at the same time. So
Mhm.
obviously, money's not making you happy and fulfilled, and you got to have more in you that's here that makes you happy, that gives you confidence and a worthiness in yourself to not go use your money and power and prestige as a substitute for self-image. And I think that,
Absolutely.
and that's where we're at. I think with our kids, we got to teach them. There's nothing wrong with having things, as long as those things don't have you, and they're a cheap substitute of something that's inside you in the first place.
Absolutely. Like I definitely take. I'm humbled by the people I've encountered that would. Well, I got other people that would be great for your show because my little vision.
Hmm.
I had 22 episodes by January 22. I'm
Wow.
popping some bottles. I'm all right.
You sure? That's
you know,
that's
you
not
and
easy,
you won 16.
huh?
I'm like, you episode 116.
Oh my God!
Not in
I
my
don't
wildest dream. I would have did these
about
many in a year.
shoot.
Never.
This isn't an interview. This is a consultation. How you got through all the episodes like that? That's a lot of episodes.
Man, I started interviewing Chris Matan, Major Shepherd L. Then I came across Tisha Hammond, a small business cheerleader, and she had said to me, "What you're doing is awesome. There's a lot of entrepreneurs out here that got great stories that can use your platform. You can do a show every day." I said all the time, like, what is she talking? And then she started giving me lists of people. I'm like, oh snap! From near the end of December to early January, I was doing 6 a day, 6 a week, and sometimes 2 a day, 3 a day. Not realizing, okay, well, I need some content, and people want to do it. I try to find a schedule to work with them,
Yeah,
and when I started counting, I'm like, oh snap, you at 100? What? Whoa, you been grinding, bro.
You never seriously grind that. Matter of fact, you're an example for me. I don't have that many episodes out there in the past 5 years. Mine was more weekly based,
Okay.
and my schedule, was so sporadic and stuff. It was very, very challenging just to do those. But here, when you do all that, shoot, you convicted me to do better. So
Hey, man, I got it out the
I
mud.
give you flowers while you're here. That's
Look,
not
I'm
easy.
an introvert. I was cool with Anchor, just audio. I ain't gotta look at nobody. Cool. But then people start saying, well, we need my people want to check it out. Like, oh, we gotta do something different. Then I came across StreamYard. Like, you gotta do face to face. First time I was terrified. I played it off well, I guess. And the more interacting with people, the connect
Yeah,
through the meet and greet, like you got complete strangers willing to share their journey. So I definitely take a humbleness with it to make sure the tagline where we treat you like family, you're comfortable to share your journey to help someone find their purpose. Because you don't know me from Adam, and yet you're willing to tell me how you got to where you are that to help somebody. So I
yeah.
definitely make sure I take the care that requires because you ain't gotta tell me nothing. You know what I'm saying? Let alone try to help somebody with. And I'm very gracious and humble that people are willing to do it. But the people God has been placed in front of me that man, I'm humble. But I've been given a mandate. I gotta get 1,000. Like, okay, well, we'll
Okay.
work on
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
I'm believing on the way I'm gonna get some sponsorship to where I can start doing this and make
yeah.
a comfortable living and do my other stuff. I want to do TV stuff as well and other ventures.
And it's about happiness, and I can hear the joy in your voice. That's what
Yeah,
it's
it's pretty
about.
cool doing this. Yeah,
It's about
I
the
didn't never
happiness
know this be my purpose.
living your purpose. And there's a lot of people out there making money and stuff, but I'm tell you what, not many of them can do what they've been called to do for whatever reason, even though they got all this money in the bank account. And no matter, I'll tell these young people wherever they're at, because I'm still in my journey. My ultimate goal is Hollywood. I mean, I'm not here stunting. I'm independent film level
Oh, you
type.
gonna get there?
But you know what? I'm willing to pay the dues to get there. And in the meantime, on the way there, my happiness has to be there in what I'm doing.
Yeah,
Because if you're a musician, and I know how you feel when you get an instrument, what do you play?
piano.
Okay. I know how it feels to write and just be totally in bliss. I know you know how it feels to be on that piano.
Oh man, going to
And then
studio
it's
is like sanctuary.
totally okay.
Make
You got to do what you're happy doing because I see them all the time. I see them, Instagram posts and stuff. You want to coach and coach people, but you're angry even though you're rich. What is your mouth all balled up like a piece of paper about? If you
yeah,
got all this money, what are you unhappy about when you got to be insulting people? But yet say you're trying to help them. So
like
that's obviously not fulfilling your purpose, what you're doing. Find that thing that makes you happy.
one thing along this journey, I became separated last year, and a lot of people like, "You okay? You good?" Like, yeah, because I can't create with anger.
You can't.
I can't. I don't need that energy. I wrote a song about how I felt about all that. It's an awesome song too.
Mm-hmm.
And doing this pretty much Monday through Saturday,
It's your
whatever I'm going through, I got to be in the right vibe so I can live up to my tagline where I treat you like family to share your story to help somebody because it's going to help multitudes that hear all of these amazing stories to find their purpose or try again. So, yeah, I ain't got time to be F the world like Pakistan. We ain't got time for that.
no.
I ain't got time for that. I got to be level, chill, and it sucks you try to make music or write a book.
The energy to be wrong. I mean, it throws you off. Like
Yeah.
I could be. I'm sorry. I could be on cloud nine when I start doing something, but something threw me off the rest of that day. I don't feel like creating. It just took me out of it. Sometimes I don't, and I have to watch the energy that's around me.
Man, there's
And
been times going to the studio and someone to call with some bull jab, like, reset, you go to the studio. And now my producer's comfortable with me, knowing him for years. He let me get behind the board, like, okay, you tell me what you want to use, and I'm like, you give me the steering wheel? Oh, this is epic. I can do everything. You're just gonna do the little side. Like, I trust you. Like, oh man, this is heaven. Ain't nothing like that feeling.
Is it not? Being an artist is different. It's a different vibe. Being an artist.
Unless you're an artist, you won't know. You won't get it.
You won't get it. Because that's why a person can be fully content even if they don't get wealthy, which I hope everybody gets wealthy doing what they love. But they're okay wherever they're at, no matter what that is.
Mm-hmm.
What that is, And that's what being an artist is about. It's about being in that moment and being happy with that moment. Because if it wasn't for my writing, my creative ability, I probably would have had a nervous breakdown for what I've been through.
I can believe that. Music is my sanctuary.
And someone who's already been in the combat zone, jump out of planes. There are total 13 jumps. 2 of them had something went wrong. And then on top of it, dealing with the bullying I did, if I didn't have my art, my craft, my creativity, I do not know where I would be. It's just the truth. So God not only gave me maybe the gift to maybe entertain people just like you, but he gave that gift to us to heal ourselves. And people don't.
When my father died when I was 12, that's when I listened to a friends of whining nonstop. When you had the tape and stop, rewind.
Yep.
And that birthed me into music to deal with when I'm dealing with stuff. And I try to make positive music with banging beats so it can help somebody. And it's crazy how something you might go through, you find something to deal with it, becomes a talent that you try to help others with.
I mean, it's a, like I said, it's a gift. Artistic ability is a gift not only for other people, which I'm learning. The other part of what I'm learning too, and that your gifts are not your own to hoard.
Man, you preaching right now, bro. I had stopped doing music for years, and the guy at Wayne State when I was custodian was like, "You supposed to be doing music. I be hearing you singing and working like you playing. Like God didn't give you that for nothing. Like this dude really on my head." And he kind of got me back to where I found my producer at Wayne State to get back into music. So I'm just getting my degree. I'm trying to get some bread. I'm done, but I'm not whole if I'm not doing music. I learned.
You said it right there.
I'm not whole.
It's a piece of you gone. It's like you cannot. I don't know. It's like, and I don't mind sharing this with the audience.
Okay.
Because I dealt with some anxiety issues, PTSD, from my military days, things I was dealing with, and taking the meds, because when I get on those meds, like it shut down a part of your creativity. It's shut down, and you're miserable. Like that part, it's like it's gone. I'm like, huh? What just happened? And that shows you how powerful of an impact your creativity and your artistic ability is, because you know when it's gone, and you miss it like a child.
Oh man.
Because you depend on it so much to get you to so much tough times and stuff. When that child gone, you know it. It's just the truth.
You ain't lying. If you ain't done it in a while, if I ain't been in the studio in a minute, I get back in there like, dang, you still got it? Ain't been here a minute. But it's I come back to you, like, because we always pray before each session, like, have your way with it, make the best music possible. And man, you start getting on the wavelength, like, I was thinking, like, yep, add that. And the second album, like, man, it's so musical, like, wow. The journey of it, like, man, people gonna feel it when I'm done mixing it. And it gotta be more phenomenal since you've been a filmmaker from that perspective.
I'm gonna tell you, it's magical when you see all that 4 years of work and revisions, and it's on that screen. And they executed the next film I'm definitely directed my own film the next time around.
Okay.
I learned why. Because no one can execute what you do better than you. Even though I had an amazing job done on it for the most part, but I know what I can bring on my time. I know when I had other people try to execute what I was trying to do, I can imagine what it's going to be like when I start to finish when I do it.
I'm going to check it out, bro. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah, well, I feel you in once we do some things with it. I'm keep quiet on it. But
I do a film for the soundtrack.
Yeah, because it's magical because you see how those individuals interpret those characters, and when they put it down and it's killed that scene exactly the way you wanted it done, it's like the best feeling.
Oh, that's awesome.
Uh,
That's
but
awesome.
but I'm learning too, and I know you maybe could attest to this. You gotta be careful patting yourself on the back.
Oh yeah, you can always do better.
It's always something to improve on it. And
You think you made your best song, like nah, you can make something better. Just keep working.
and even on the administrative side, you can do a little better because that's what my area of opportunity was. I was just so new, I didn't know certain things, but a little bit smarter, be a little more efficient next time around, and that's the best part of it. I mean, you feel like money when that thing's on that screen, or when you hear your music, it's money.
Now, my biggest challenge was I didn't do it in so long, and when I used to rap with my friends, when I drank and smoked weed, so I'm like, okay, I can't rap. Like, no, if you did it, you can do it. I'm like, I don't know, man. So my first song was my autobiography, Jesus Forgave Me. You should rap and sing. I'm like, dude, I don't smoke weed no more. Like, you can do it, trust me. I'm like, oh, this dude talking about stop doing it. Ain't like you sound corny, Jeff. Like, what? I'm from the street. What you mean? By the third time he said, I'm like, okay. Jeff, he won't pop. That's who he used to listen to all the time. He dealt with stuff. He won't pop. Like, all right. So the first verse, I was upset. Like, you call me corny one more time, man. Respect on my name. And I had to get comfortable with him to where he played some of his earlier stuff that wasn't the best. Like, for you to bring out what you're trying to do, you got to be totally comfortable. Like, man, I never shared my music with nobody. It was just me at home in the dark, listening or come up and write. Like, I'm gonna tell you my vision. Like, I don't know, man. I got trust issues. It took a minute to really get there, and man, when you finally get that trust with people, whatever craft you're working on, you'll make some magic.
Absolutely, and collaborations is key. I was a lone wolf. That's the other part too. I'm glad you said that too. One of the mistakes I made was trying to be a lone wolf in everything I did, and no man is an island.
Now, what was your biggest challenge on this journey?
Me,
Okay.
and I elaborate on that. I found in my journey, and in terms of what was going on with the trauma I experienced through a military career and growing up, that I had some mindsets I had to break. I had some, I forgot what they called it, but it's just some things in my head that you hear. That's when you can't listen to the devil no more.
Yeah.
The devil will whisper things in your ear or whisper things in other people's ear to get to you, and you'll start believing things that's not even true about yourself.
Oh yeah, he was talking.
And
He'll
and
tell you something all
I
that.
watched it today. I watched the devil just totally just spoke to a person to try to get to me. Almost got me because that's why he said put on the whole armor of God.
That's true.
And I must have missed a gauntlet or something today.
True.
It nearly got me out of character a little bit. But I think you got to raise your powers of discernment.
Yeah.
So you don't fall in those snares to get you distracted. And that was the biggest thing. I would get distracted. You walking around here offended. And one thing I had to learn too, you can be offended all day. Young people gonna do exactly what they're gonna do. That you someone like that, they're gonna go somebody else do the same thing. And not stop. So God Almighty hit that person. And you cannot change them. You want to control what you can control. You go out there, you do your thing. And they do not have to like you. They do not have to accept you for who you are. And it's on you to not pay that stuff in their mind because it will affect you. And I would be so hypersensitive and all that, and I would bottle all that stuff up and hear you about to stroke out, worry about somebody say about you, and you about to stroke out with their life.
In my early dating years, I'd be on dates and look, I'm a cool nerd that know the street. I'm not a street dude, so
exactly
I gotta be me. So if they ain't with your cup of tea, it's gonna be a nice date. You have a nice life.
Exactly.
I gotta be me.
See,
I ain't that.
Woo, man, you said something right there because if I wish I can get to a young man and tell them, look, You out here perpetrating this stuff. The thing is, that's a full-time job perpetrating. You got to be that same person for the rest of the year to keep up this mass that you got.
Yep.
But if you like, I saw this thing about Russell Wilson being called corny. Now, the man of God, beautiful wife, beautiful kids, incredible career, but they call this man corny. Some guy called the guy corny, and I'm thinking to myself, now who does that? But the thing is, I know Russell. I know Russell. Hopefully he'll attest to this. I ever get a chance to meet him one day. Hopefully I will. I really admire the guy. That if you're being yourself, you only got to do that one time.
That's true.
And that's the gift, because if you can be yourself one time, you don't have to stunt for nobody else. And they turned off from, they're gonna run for the hills anyway. You don't have to mess with them no more. So why not be yourself from the start and show them how you really get down from the start, so they won't, and they either feel you or not. And people don't really get that. and
You can be perfect at being you. It ain't hard. You wake up with yourself every day.
And you going out there other people and stuff, you still gotta look yourself in the mirror every single day. You got this mask on. You gotta put that mask on again every single day. You're not gonna be happy that way. But if you show people how you really get down, all your quirks, all your imperfections and all that, and you can still roll with who you are, they don't got to respect you, but you'll have the utmost respect for yourself. And that's the only thing that counts.
Mm-hmm. And if they ride with you, they're gonna ride with who you are.
Yeah.
Ain't gonna be you good being you. You my peoples.
Exactly.
Them real people on your team to mess with, because you ain't got a front to be nothing but you.
Yeah, and that's my military speaking of too, because I wrote this in torrential waters. You want to know how people truly get down? And teach this in the military, kind of indirectly. You take away their sleep. You make them super cold. You make them super high. But in those conditions, you're gonna know who that real person is.
Interesting.
Because their survival instincts gonna kick in. They suppress our survival instincts. It's still not, and won't steal from you, lie on you, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That's the person you know you ride with.
Okay.
But you'll know how people get down because I've been there. They broke us down to nothing, no sleep. I think we was in the field one time, basically with a field for like 4 days. I think I got like 8 hours of sleep in 4 days.
Ooh.
Easily, and was pulling security out. I was a zombie. Always. But I promise you, they knew how Cedric William Nettles got down, and I knew how they got down, and that's how you know you get tight with people. Tam is a good example. I have a reverence for her because I see her go through so much to get to where Exposure TV Network is. Mm-hmm. And I saw the stuff she had to endure. And as times she could get angry at the world, upset on how people are, but she always took, if you was close to her, she always took care of you. It's not necessarily financial, but she'll always be there for you for a listening ear. She'll lead you, she'll give you tough love. That's the kind of person I would like to be. So when I see somebody battle tested, they're not out here stunting in front and trying to copy other people's personalities and all that, I know how that person really get down. And that's really what I've learned from Tam and quite frankly, a lot of other mentors I had, because I still have mentors to this day.
Okay, I understand that one.
And that's all that counts. It's really getting your identity through your challenges and your mold you to who you're going to be.
Okay. Now, last question for this great conversation with you.
Yeah.
What advice do you have for someone trying to find their purpose?
You got to hear from God. You got to hear from God. It's because I know God. Like, I'm gonna go back to the sense of humor. If it's God given, nobody's gonna really feel you like that, because they're gonna doubt you. And just like it was crazy for David to take a rock and kill Goliath, the giant, the odds seem stacked against you. And I heard T.D. Jakes say a long time ago, it's not David's muscles or the rock, it's God getting behind that rock as he threw it. So if you got a purpose in your life, you better have God in it, because it's going to be some opposition to that gift or in that dream of what you're doing, and you definitely going to need God, because God would never ask you for something that does not require Him being in it.
That's
You
true.
got to hear from God. That's just my belief.
Nah, I'm with you on that.
Yeah,
I mean, getting this out the mud, asking Him, and figuring out the rest.
yeah, and it's not going to be fun, but if you're hearing from God and you know it's an unmistakable God-given dream that's in your head and in your heart, He's going to give you the wisdom, and He's going to let them know it wasn't about you that got you there. It's this me, God Almighty, that got you through that. So you can go out, so you can be an example for other people to know that He exists.
That's true.
And that's where I am in terms of letting young men know and young women know, for that matter, that you got to hear from Him. You got to hear from your heart, and you got to keep your dream in front of you, because if it's about hurting people and doing a lot of shady stuff to people, man, the devil will pop up and help you every single day with it. But if you got a little bit of Jesus in you, you will fight you tooth and nail every single day in your thoughts, in your head.
All the time.
So, in short, hear from God about your dream and your goal.
Man, that is great advice and awesome journey you've been on, brother. And I'm looking to see the other great stuff you're doing.
Me too. Like I said, God, today I'll be doing something, then pop, I'm doing this, and like, whoa, I didn't see this coming. I didn't know I'd be on a TV channel around this time. I was be crazy, but I just understand. Just like you guys, you're a great steward of what you have given, what you were given. I want to follow your example of what you're doing, and continue to be as humble and as giving as you are, as you're giving me access to your platform, and just be a good blessing to everybody around you that you encounter. So, and I'm thankful for you to set an example.
Oh, wow. I'm humbled by that, sir. Because without y'all, these great stories don't get to people that need to hear that finally going to say, I'm going to try. And we won. They probably got people saying, man, stop talking about that. You ain't never going to. Nah, we heard this show. I'm going to do the research. I'm going to try. All I got to do is you're going to keep on moving like, oh, you at your journey. Now you're there. So it's going to help some people. I do believe that.
It will. You're already doing it. I mean, God takes people like yourself and the people that with the meekness and stuff, and those are the people who He asks you usually calls. You don't call super flashy people usually. Sometimes He does with those that fight hard, but He works miracles through the most unlikely vessels, and I'm one of them.
I definitely want to thank the author, producer, filmmaker, veteran, owner of Speak Live Nation channel on Exposure Network TV, Cedric Nettles. You've been awesome, sir, sharing your journey.
Well, following your example, brother.
Oh, yeah. Hey, I got to get on your level, man. I got to try my hand to make a film one of these days. See what I can do.
Hey, just ask him. He'll give it to you. Trust me. He'll give it to you. I see you do the musical one day. You might want to look into that.
Hey. And when I can help you, man, let me know.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I got the contact information, and it might be indirectly. I might.
I know about
one, and like I said, industry is kind of small. You'd be surprised. That's 6 degrees separations of something else in entertainment. You never know. And I can link you guys up or something. You never know.
Hey, I'm with it, man. We gotta get that together.
That's how it happens.
So if you have a great day, everybody enjoy this episode and try to find your purpose.
All right. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you.
All right.
All right. Bye.